Fallen Aces is another ambitious indie project taking under the wing of the New Blood studio. The latter is famous not only as a reliable supplier of old-school yet fresh game Dusk, Amityville, Ultrakill, but also a competent curator giving authors creative freedom and particularly infinite time frames to realize their ideas. The creator of Fallen Aces were snow-heavy. Nearly 5 years have passed since its announcement, and the gunplay action game has only just entered early access. The game immediately justified many expectations built on promotional materials. There is an expressive visual style with a clear influence from the golden age of comics, the meticulously recreated Hollywood noir atmosphere of the era, and detailed non-linear levels with a high interactivity. One question remains: how do you actually play this? The answer is unknown even to developers themselves. It's very easy to fall in love with Fallen Aces at first sight, almost like with a femme fatale from classic detective stories. She presents herself as original and multifaceted, able to offer something you've never experienced before or have terribly missed, attractive but not easily accessible, requiring active involvement like a riddle just waiting for someone to solve it. God, she even makes the simplest and most banal things, which you've seen 100,000 times in life, completely unique. You need to immediately write her a positive review on Steam and tell all your friends. Then, of course, the rose-colored glasses fall off, and the enchanted wanderer seeing his object of passion truly for the first time is pierced with realization. Wait, this is not what I signed up for. But this cry is despair will either get stuck in the throat or drown in the stream of other noise. But initially, of course, you walk around unhinged. It seems like the gangster game of your dreams is just a minute away. The visuals capture your first, a precise, elegant, and a clearly well-made stylization of comics from a specific area perfectly rhymes with the iconography of classic noir. Hand-drawn frame-by-frame animation pick up a momentum from a simple NPC walking to the grimaces of surrogate sharks clutching their boneless limbs. Even for Gimme Father, which aspired to a similar artistic, is left far behind, not to mention its unfurnished sequel. Although in texture, Fallen Aces is certainly closer to something like L.A. Noire or Mafia 2. Set in the 1950s, the signs, posters, headlines, interiors or cafes, hotels and apartments, radio music, pedestrian outfits, and even newspaper fonts, everything around is soaked in the spirit of the post-war America. At least it is cinematic incarnation. Moreover, a huge part of the entertainment has a practical application. Eat, drink, smoke, but most often, of course, grab something firmly and smash it into the face of another opponent. Our hero essentially has no permanent weapons. You have to fight with whatever comes to hand, and different items really feel different in combat. For example, a fire axe will allow you to kill almost any opponent with an accurate hit to the skull, while a bottle will break after a couple of hits, turning into a deadly rose. The authors didn't retrain their flow of imagination. You can hit and throw almost anything there, even rats running on the streets. And the level design is a celebration for anyone who loves to search every corner. The levels are quite compact but open, non-linear and extremely rich. The number of secret passages, optional shortcuts and other optional content is simply amazing. Almost every nook has something hidden, weapons, a piece of lore, or an entire side quest. For example, on the first level, the player can learn about treasures hidden by bandits somewhere in a hotel room. But the key is hidden in a certain place that can be found by oriented to landmarks. And in the room itself is a safe, the code to which is encrypted. It's a fresh issue of the city newspaper. You immediately remember. So where did I see booth with this press sign? You find it, solve it, for smart. And at the level exceed, you are met with all the messages like secret found. How the hell did the developers manage to fit so much content in the couple of city blocks? The most amazing thing is how the authors managed to achieve a freedom in the progression with minimal means. The player doesn't have any special gadgets or extraordinary movement techniques. The set is similar: sprint, jump, crouch, and so on. And this proves sufficient, thanks to the thoughtful architecture and high interactivity. Fallen Aces evokes a feeling similar to what the original Duke Nukem 3D gave, blazing shooter fans onto the streets of the real city. Enthusiastic players try to get through every window and were always happy to discover they were welcome there too. So it's there. For example, on the second level you're given a task to reach the port warehouse across a body of water. You can start the cable car running above the water. You can simply cross to the other side along the cable holding the car. You can swim across. Players are warned that the waters are infected with sharks, but no one will forbid them from trying to bypass them, or find a harpoon on a rolling ship and become an underwater hunter themselves. There are almost always several options. In general, while small but meticulously crafted, the world of Fallen Axis is extremely fascinating to explore, but a huge part of the gameplay also consists of confrontation with against gangs, and with them things aren't so smooth. Surprisingly, it seems that after 5 years of development, the authors still haven't determined exactly what they're making. In moment-to-moment gameplay, Fallen Aces tries to be simultaneously a first-person brawler, a boomer shooter, and even an immersive game. The creators have great developments in each of these directions, but in each of them there's also some wild absurdity, and they just don't come together into a coherent picture no matter what. The main way to fight enemies is, after all, hand-to-hand combat. Good news! In addition to dozens of different bats, sticks, knives, even in unarmored mode, we have about 5 basic moves: dodge, kicks, blocks, in short, plenty to work with. And it all looks just great. Juicy finisher, squishing sounds of broken noses, simply bliss. Bad news: all this variety isn't well needed. Any enemy can be taken down with a simple fist strikes, taking timelessly step forward and backward, almost like in a Morrowind. What's that? Stamina bar? Nonsense. You just not need to step away from the enemy for a couple of seconds and it will recover. And even 5 armored opponents will hardly be a problem for a player. They are so awfully stupid and weak. Fallen Aces is outrageously simple even at the highest difficulty level, and that's a problem. Because bright visuals alone can't carry dozens of monotonous fights. They will start to get boring by the second or third level. But there's also stealth, yes, and it even works quite well. You can hide in shadows, sneak up on the opponents from behind, knocking them out with one hit, distract them by throwing various objects. But why? The game doesn't reward the stealthy approach in any way. A frontal confrontation doesn't pose much free-to-play, and hiding from opponents will only slow down progress. You could say the stealth would suit those who want to create an additional challenge from themselves, but there's no real chance there. I don't know what their principles were used to sack gang members in the 15th, but the local bandits are all blind and deaf. You can safely sprint past their noses, and if there's a danger of detection, a special indicator in the spirit of Metal Gear Solid 5 will warn the player, casual or terrain. Shooting strictly episodic. There are very few firearms in the game, and few bullets for them too. Therefore you can seriously rely on them. A gun is only useful as a way to quickly bypass another fight with several opponents, or take down an inconveniently located enemy shooter. You find some submission gun, shoot all the ammo at the next corner, throw it away and move on. And the mentioned focus on immersion sometimes just harms the experience. There are really many items in the game that you want to try in combat, only there are just 3 inventory slots, and they apply to everything: weapons, first aid kits, buff items, and even ammunition. I don't know who thought this approach was reasonable, but it simply prevents fun. It also conflicts with a gently interesting exploration part of the game. Let's say I dug up a bunch of secrets with a different loot. I take a pistol in one slot, ammunition for the second, and first aid kit in the third. And that's it, no more hands. What I am supposed to do to return to the found reach after each skirmish? That's nonsense. Something useful will be found along the way anyway. And if not, I will take down enemies with a bare hands. They are worthless dummies anyway. The limited inventory rather pushed towards speedrunning location in the spirit of kind of three-dimensional Hotline Miami. Grab one weapon, smash it, pick up whatever comes along the way, throw a ball at the distance enemy, take cover from the shots around the corner, etc. And this can be quite entertaining, until you learn to confidently kite enemies, taking almost no damage. The authors of Fallen Aces need to do something about the combat, perhaps set priorities and overhaul mechanics and balance in favor of some single approach, perhaps find some additional ways to restrain the player. For now, this part of the game unfortunately threatens to become tedious routine with a real stakes in a full playthrough. In the current version, Fallen Aces contain one episode out of the Planet 3, content for about 4 hours if you dig into secrets, or just an hour if you run strictly on main quest. But through the 5 finishes levels, the authors managed to clearly outline the plot setup. The story here is at least intriguing. In complex criminal political disposition, there's a cynical detective, his mysterious eccentric information in tights, a masked crime-fighting organization that has fallen apart, and a supervillain who bites all of these subordinates' fingers. The presentation is operative, not too serious and moderately aggressive, but not descending into complete clownery, rather kitsch. It turns out to be something between Bond's films, Watchmen, Humphrey Bogart movies, and No One Lives Forever. The presentation in the form of the comic book inserts with such a mix perfectly, and the numerous characteristic phrases of opponents with reference to Gunstar's films, series and other games only add charm to the overall picture. From a technical standpoint, the game works almost perfect, except for one insanely annoying bug. When using a quick load, the location maps become unavailable. They promise to fix the situation with the nearest patch, but in future, Fallen Aces require fix not only on technical side, but on the gameplay side. For now, it looks more like a vertical slice, excellently demonstrating both the strongest and the weakest aspect of the project. Let's hope that the authors will recognize them too. So, to sum up, why it's worth playing? It's a meticulous level design with a lot of secrets, various methods of overcoming obstacles, 1001 ways to inflict grievous body harms, expressive style with successful comic book stylization, and intriguing quasi-noir plot. And what spoils the pleasure is scattered gameplay developments don't come together into a complete picture. Monotonous and too simple fights with stupid opponents and limited inventory prevents fun. Thank you for watching, please don't forget to subscribe.